name is Kim Hui Nyo, and I'm a co-editor of Sushi and Tapas, Personal Stories by Young Women Around the World. This book is a collection of 25 stories by young women in their 20s to 40s, and they've written about stories about work, about personal relationships, about family, self-confidence, religion, right? And it's a wonderful collection of personal stories. The spirit of the book is to keep it authentic, right, and personal. And we felt that so long as it was coming from the heart, right, we would be able to connect to someone out there who is probably going through something similar, or who had friends going through something similar, right? And the idea was that all the proceeds from the book would be donated to charity. So given this platform, we thought, okay, in the spirit of just sharing and creating that platform to share, we kept all the stories. Some of them were edited more than others, right? Just to make sure that it was related to people who relate to them.
If you're going to do a collection of stories about women from women, rape is actually quite common. It happens to one in three or four women are the victim of at least attempted rape. So I think if you're going to have a story about women or a collection of stories about women, you actually need to include a story about rape, because it's a life-changing and very traumatic incident that can happen to so many women, and there isn't enough discussion of it in the public debate, in the public sphere. So on one level, I think it's quite important. Now, I was raped, I'm a rape victim. I'm also a writer, so for me, the way I deal with any kind of life event, especially a major life event like this, is by writing about it. And generally, I used to just write for myself, but increasingly as I've gotten older, I've become more confident about my own writing abilities. And when this opportunity came up to participate and become involved in this project, it was a no-brainer for me. I never think about writing about anything other than the rape. For me, it was obvious I should write about the rape, because it was an event that basically changed my entire adult life, and I'm probably a different person now as a result. And I think there's a lot of women out there that probably had similar instances and never really heard about other women's stories. So for me, I think rape's a quite important topic to write about, and it was a natural thing for me to describe in my essay.
And Sushi and Tapas is our second book that is not about Singapore and not written mainly by Singaporean. But it is co-edited by a Singaporean. And it is one of our few ventures into non-fiction. We call it creative non-fiction.
It's really about establishing good laws, establishing the right political context, and establishing the kind of society that gives the opportunities. But now the discussion or debate has moved to another area. It is also, now that you've got it, what do you do with it? So, can women have a talk? Because you begin to ask the question, yourself the question, what is the work-life balance?
I think for us as beautiful people, maybe something that makes us a little bit different is how we see this idea of the beneficiary. Actually, a lot of times people think, oh, wow, our little sisters, there are beneficiaries because they need, more support or guidance or things like that. But I think that the big sisters of beautiful people will definitely tell you that we are the beneficiaries, that we are the ones who learn, we are the ones who grow, we are the ones whose character is formed. We are the ones who get to be in contact with people, places, and things way beyond anything that we might have ever imagined before. And I think for that we are extremely grateful always.
Memory, she must say. Yes! The perpetrator must be.
I wrote about my experience entering the corporate world in South Africa, because I think South Africa is sort of in the early stages where we're dealing with the trenches of just coming out of apartheid, I think 15 years down the line now. And I wrote about how when I was growing up, my focus was around, making it really big, going into the business world and really getting into that room, right, which is that amazing boardroom, which I thought would define my success. And I wrote about my experience when I got there, because then when I got there I realized that, oh wow, the environment is still pretty white, still pretty male. And what happened is that I actually stood out. and it made me feel quite uncomfortable to be there. And I started asking myself a lot of questions about, so what does it mean when a black woman actually succeeds and reaches those echelons, right? Now, does it mean that I need to change who I am to fit in with that very, white and senior male environment? Or does it mean that I need to focus on what makes me different to really be successful in that environment?
Why do you do it? I mean, so many women would have just tried to forget about it, or rather than tell to a whole room of strangers, publish their experience and having to be reminded of it again.
So recently, about making this story so public, I mean, after the attack happened to me, I was very open with my friends. You can read it out of my essay. I texted a few of my friends saying, I wasn't raised in West Belfast, so don't ask me how I did it, right? This is what happened. And obviously, as I said in the excerpt, I told a random work, contact, I was assaulted and raped. Because for one of you, why hide that? There isn't any shame.
It's interesting, we haven't got there yet to question ourselves what we're doing there, but what did you do after? You said you realized that wasn't where you wanted to be. What was the next step?
I guess for me, it's quite interesting because I think I had to fight the battle against my mind and in my heart. I mean, it's interesting. I've known Joy for a couple of years, and every time I speak to her, she says to me, you know what, you live in different worlds. You live in two different worlds, and always, they conflict to some extent. And that's exactly what happened to me there. I think it was a confrontation of this is what happens when you succeed in the normal fashion of life. And then at the same time, I'm still, a Zulu woman, right? First and foremost.
Young Chinese, both men and women, don't really want to travel out. It's not in the culture. They're busy making money. They buy their home. They're too much into investing into their future. But there are young Chinese going into NGO work within China. Are there not?
8 years ago, I wouldn't be courageous enough to do that. But right now, I see the hope in a younger generation that they are really doing that. And actually part of my work right now is also helping them establish the kind of confidence and also helping them to sort of figure out what they can do afterwards to have a meaningful and successful career after they've done something really good for the people. So, just back to your question, I think I'm very happy to see that kind of phenomenon happening.
So the story I wrote in the book was basically about my 6 months life in Nigeria as a volunteer consultant, helping the local farmers improving their life. And I had a lot of life-changing experience there, meeting people which are totally different from who I knew before. And also some kind of very shocking events happened to me and also to my friends, which living as a very protected kid in China, I can never ever imagine happening. So it's a bunch of a series of events and also some very inspiring people that that gave me a kind of a very life-changing memories, and also started my self-discovery process since 3 years ago.
I was invited to this function, and immediately I knew that I wanted to come for several reasons. One, the stories from the women, and as a women's organization, we're always interested in what women face, their experiences, and how we can learn from them, and how we can perhaps even use their stories to help other women.
Like Linda, I'm from Aware, and all those reasons I will not repeat. Linda and me also run an English language school, and the other reason that I think I came is probably to use the book to inspire some of the kids that we teach that, hey, you can write about your story and people do want to read about it. And I think in every little experience that you have is a story somebody else might want to read in the future or will find inspiration in, and hopefully they'll find inspiration from the stories they've read from these lovely young women.
It's brilliant. The women should get together, write their stories so that they can inspire